I feel like I should acknowledge the context. I'm temporarily recording in my mother-in-law's guest room. So never recorded here before. First time figuring it out. Bear with me. I want to talk about Justin Fields. That's why we're here today. Last year in 2024, Justin Fields started 6 games at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He threw for 1,106 yards, 5 touchdown passes, 1 interception, and he also ran for 5 more touchdowns. So while he was a starting quarterback, Pittsburgh went 4-2, and then they abruptly sat him on the bench and went with Russell Wilson the rest of the year as their starting quarterback. So now Justin Fields has left Pittsburgh. He is the Jets quarterback. And I went back. I watched all 6 games he started last year in 2024 because I wanted to understand, what are the Jets getting at quarterback? He signed a $40 million contract, and I wanted to, again, see what's the expectation here as he goes to New York. I came up with 4 questions, 4 things that Jets fans can look for when they watch Justin Fields in a Jets uniform this fall. Question number 1. What is Justin Fields going to look like throwing the football in 2025? There were 3 things on film Justin did that I will put it nicely, I didn't love. Ball location, trajectory, and timing, or we'll call it anticipation is probably a better way to put this. Number 1, ball location. Ball location is another way to say accuracy. Ball placement, other people say. It's where the ball lands in the vicinity of a receiver. And last year, he would throw behind a receiver, or he would throw, an out route to the wrong shoulder. Great example, week 1 against Atlanta, Najee Harris is wide open for a check down. It's a swing route to the flat, and it's a bad throw. It's a little behind. It ends up getting dropped. This should have been caught, by the way. I want to acknowledge Najee Harris should catch this. It's not the easiest catch in the world. Should be hauled in. However, it's still not a great throw. And if Justin puts the ball in a better location, leading Najee upfield, it would have been a catch. But also a big gain, too. Like, even if it had been caught the where it's thrown, by throwing behind the receiver, you kill his momentum, you slow him down. If he throws the ball upfield, leading Najee and his momentum, it's probably a really big gain. 10, 15, maybe 20 yards. Najee makes a move, he breaks a big one. You never know. There are little moments where Justin Fields will take what should have been an easy completion and make it really difficult. Because he's inaccurate, because he throws the ball to the wrong shoulder or the wrong location. So in 2025 with the Jets, is he going to clean this up? Or is he going to remain what I would call mildly inaccurate? Not horrible, but throwing the ball behind receivers or to the wrong shoulder. Now, trajectory is also a question. Last year in Pittsburgh, he threw the ball flat all the time. And by flat, I mean, every throw was a fastball, 100 miles an hour with a really flat trajectory. Sometimes you got to take some off, give a throw some touch, and throw the ball up and over a defender. Drop the ball in, letting a receiver run under the football. So the Chargers week 3 is a great example of this. He throws a corner ball to the end zone. Should have been up, over the top, and led the receiver to the back corner of the end zone. Let the receiver run under the ball. Instead, he throws it flat to the front corner of the end zone. It had a chance to be a touchdown. Instead, it just ends up being an awkward, ugly, incomplete pass that just is leaving a lot of room for growth. And this happens often. There's another example against Dallas where Darnell Washington beats a defender vertically, but the ball doesn't lead him over the top. It's thrown flat, on a line, incomplete. The ball needs to be up high, in the air. And this happens consistently. You got to wonder, is this going to continue in a Jets uniform? Or is he going to start putting air under the ball, putting it up where receivers can run under it? Now, if you dial up a good play call and have a wide open receiver, Justin Fields can make that throw. He can make an easy throw. He can hit a guy wide open. But anticipation is another question. A great example of this problem or question mark is week 5. Najee Harris comes wide open down the left sideline on what I call a smoke route out of the backfield. That's a running back running down the sideline out of the backfield. To make this play, Justin would have had to throw the ball early and anticipate that he may not be open yet, but if I release the ball early, throw it early, he's going to come open, and this could lead to a massive gain. Now, in the 6 games Justin started for Pittsburgh last year, there's almost 0 throws with anticipation. It's hard to show you a thing that isn't on film. There aren't examples of it. There are really only examples of times he didn't throw with anticipation. And I guess the question here is, can Justin Fields process the game faster? Because in 2024, most of his completions happened like this. A receiver is open, then I start my throwing motion and throw the ball. He started throwing the ball after the receiver was already open. Throwing with anticipation means that you release the ball when the receiver is not open yet. But when the ball arrives, things have changed and now the receiver is open. You're anticipating an opening that's not there yet. You're throwing before the opening has happened. And the question is, can Justin do that? Can he throw the football with anticipation? So question number 1 is, how is he going to look throwing the football? Question number 2, though, is his ability to run the football. How is his ability to run going to impact his play in 2025? I'm not going to lie to you. I think I did myself a disservice and set my expectations too high. I ended up feeling shockingly underwhelmed by Justin Fields' athleticism. And again, this is me expecting him running around, big gains, avoiding sacks, making lots of plays happen. I think Jets fans have to kind of check themselves as well. If you are anything like me, I thought I was going to watch Justin Fields run around, make a bunch of crazy stuff happen. The reality is that as a starting quarterback last year, he did have a run for 30 yards later in the year. He came off the bench and it was kind of a gadget player occasionally. As a starting quarterback, the longest run Justin Fields had in that 6-game stretch was 18 yards. It's not a bad run, but that's not game-breaking, game-changing. That's actually something 18 yards is not what I expected when I sat down to watch Justin Fields, a great athlete, play quarterback. Now, he did make a lot of plays with his legs. I don't want to undersell his ability to run. He's really quick. He can, on the goal line, for example, he ran for a touchdown quite often. He can get to the corner. He can beat a linebacker to the goal line. In a goal line situation, Justin Fields' ability to run is really valuable. 3rd and 3, 3rd and short, stuff like that. But you do got to keep your expectations in check if you're a Jets fan. On film, I saw a guy who was quick and can get some yards, but he's not breaking off massive runs and making people look silly. He's frankly not Lamar Jackson. He's closer to a Jalen Hurts as a runner than Lamar. He can run, he can get yards, it's part of his game, but it's not the big playmaking ability I guess I expected, or at least certainly it wasn't in that 6-game stretch last year. The question is, could it be in 2025 in a Jets uniform? I also got to say, I think his ability to run sometimes causes a problem. Rather than hang in the pocket, he's looking to take off and run. And sometimes that means he's not going to see receivers come open, or at least last year that's what happened. Maybe it'll change. He'll be different in a Jets uniform. But there's a play against Denver week 2 where it's actually, it's really impressive. The Denver Broncos defense plays cover 0. What that means is they play man coverage across the board. There's 5 guys in man coverage and they blitz. So 6 guys come after the quarterback. It means you've got 5 one-on-one matchups at receiver. Now, ideally, you hang in the pocket and you find your best matchup. You get rid of the ball quickly. You beat the blitz throwing. And instead, Justin Fields does something honestly incredible. It deserves to be appreciated, even though he definitely made his life way harder. he outruns the blitz. They bring pressure after him. Instead of hanging in the pocket, find an open receiver, he runs away. And for most human beings alive, that doesn't work. Like, you can't outrun a blitz. You're just going to get sacked. He escapes left, and he runs for 11 yards. That's not nothing. Like, that's actually really impressive. But he's really overcomplicating things when he does that. He's got a slant wide open over the middle. And it would have been an easy completion and maybe a huge gain. Instead of 11 yards, he could have got like 40. Throw a slant, guy breaks a tackle, maybe even a touchdown. But Justin Fields' instinct, when he feels pressure, is to run, to create. Bring your eyes down, stop looking downfield, but read the rush and figure out where to run, kind of like a running back, actually. He's not a guy who wants to hang in the pocket. And what he does, running away from the blitz against the Broncos week 2, that's a really difficult way to gain 11 yards. You could have easily gained 11 by hanging in the pocket, throwing the slant, and probably got more than 11 yards. There's a simpler route than what Justin Fields does here. He brute forces his way to 11 yards. There's a similar play against the Chargers week 3. He runs for 5 yards instead of throwing to his wide open receiver over the middle. Just take the easy yards. Don't do this the hard way. And against Dallas, another similar situation. He turns himself into a runner rather than keeping his eyes downfield. Guy comes open over the middle. He would have had to throw with anticipation. Either way, he wants to be a runner. And if you can't run, it doesn't occur to you to try to run. A guy like Tom Brady could not run. So he had to learn to navigate the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and slide and move to find people open. So Justin Fields' ability to run is actually kind of a blessing and a curse. Like, it's a really incredible skill. It also, I kind of believe, has led to Justin allowing him to get away with running rather than learning to hang in the pocket and keep his eyes downfield and throw and develop as a passer. So in 2025, the question is, what will Justin look like as a runner? Is he going to break away and have massive runs for 70, 80 yards, long touchdowns? I didn't see that in a 6-game sample, not a whole season, but 6 games last year was a lot. Didn't see anything like that. Longest run was 18 yards. Maybe, though, something changes. He's different in a Jets uniform. Or is what's more likely going to happen, he's going to dink and dunk and run for 5 or 10 yards here, and also, as a result, miss out on opportunities throwing the football downfield. That's my concern and my question for Justin Fields in 2025. Now, let's talk about Justin Fields' contract. He signed a 2-year deal worth $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. He won big money, which makes me think of today's sponsor, Prize Picks. We have reached the championship in playoff basketball. Whether it's rebounds or maybe we're talking about points in a playoff basketball game, with Prize Picks, you take your pick of more or less for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash today. Prize Picks is the best way to get real money action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports, combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and much more. Run your game all season long because Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Download the app today and use code CLNS for $500 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, I am really toasty. I got to take my sweat. The quarter zip was a mistake. It's very hot. It's summer. It's June. Give me a second. Can you see the sweat on my forehead? I feel like it's really obvious. It's hot in here. I don't have AC. And the problem is, if I turn the AC on, all you hear in the background of the microphone is right. I promise you don't want that in the background of the entire video. Question number 3. I am really curious to see how defenses approach Justin Fields in 2025. I want to be clear. I would not play man coverage against Justin Fields. First of all, he will pull the trigger and hit on deep balls occasionally. So he throws the ball up in the air vertically in one-on-one coverage. It's a non-zero chance that's a completion and a big gain. So you run the risk if you play man coverage of him hitting a deep ball. Don't love that. But even worse is that in man coverage, defenders turn their back to the quarterback. So you are vulnerable to him breaking away a big run without a lot of help and a lot of people available to go make a tackle. So if you play man coverage, you really are vulnerable to Justin Fields' ability to running the football. I expect defenses to play a ton of zone coverage against the Jets this year. 4-man rush, drop 7 guys into coverage, keep everything in front of them. A, containing Justin Fields' ability to run, but B, and more importantly, you're forcing him to throw with good timing, beating zone coverage, challenging his ability to use anticipation, and maybe just forcing him to throw checkdowns all day, which, frankly, a lot of defenses did that in 2024 against Pittsburgh and Justin Fields, and it worked pretty well. You force the guy to be patient, take short throws underneath, and maybe he's going to make a mistake against zone coverage, all the while keeping him from really breaking a huge run against man coverage. That's how I expect defenses to play the Jets in 2025. I'm curious if that's right, but that's something to watch. What do defenses do against Justin Fields? Are they playing a lot of zone coverage like I think they're going to? Can't wait to see that. I'm excited to follow that storyline in 2025. And finally, this question is kind of a cheap shot. I don't mean it to be. Did Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith last year cause Justin Fields to look bad? Like, how much of Justin's, lack of development, lack of anticipation, lack of big plays, was that just the play calling? I think it's a fair question to ask. I think Arthur Smith is a bad offensive coordinator. I'm not a fan of the guy. In his time calling plays, head coach, offensive coordinator, whatever, he's never had a great quarterback. And that's for a reason. Like, he's not a guy who takes a lot of chances throwing the football downfield. He doesn't have a lot of confidence in quarterbacks. And some of the play calls last year were, I would call them whack, where you're in like max protection, you're leaving 7 guys into block, and you've only got 2 receivers running a route downfield. That's just not a creative, great play call. I mean, coaching really matters. Coaching is so important, especially for a young quarterback. And in my opinion, sometimes Justin Fields was simply just given a really limited play call and not much to work with. And so at times, I think he was set up to fail by coaching. Maybe he's going to improve simply by not working with a guy like Arthur Smith anymore. Maybe leaving Pittsburgh is going to really help Justin Fields by itself. So I ask you, what do you expect from Justin Fields in 2025? I'm curious. I've got 4 questions. How's he going to throw the football? What's he going to look like running? What are defenses going to try to do against him? And is he going to get better simply by just getting away from Arthur Smith? Either way, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think about Justin Fields? And what do you think he's going to do this year in 2025 wearing a Jets uniform?